Hello, everyone. I'm Violet Paladin, and I'm joined by my friends. I've got Nimin,
Greetings, all.
I've got Sonia,
Morning.
and Vidove.
E.
Eat.
We might have a new player joining if she feels a little better. She's having tummy problems. So we are going to start, or we're going to reboot a campaign that we started originally. I don't know like how it went, so we just kind of moved stuff around, changed players around, and now we're just starting over again. So we're reintroducing the world of Light Hollow. It's a homebrew setting that I've created, and the world of Light Hollow, as we all know, is very not boilerplate, but what you would expect in a common fantasy setting, regular D&D with no crazy bells or whistles. There are some small twists here and there that we'll discover, but for the most part, it's your standard D&D game. So I guess just one by one, everybody just give me a brief introduction of your character, things like their name, what they look like, and just a brief rundown of like their goals and motivations.
Okay.
We'll go with.
So Niman is a gnome wizard who he was originally from the forest. He's a forest gnome, and he became fascinated with human life, and he joined a college in Neverwinter and went to school, and he studied under a very powerful teacher. And then his teacher said, "All right, it's time that you go into the real world because the best way to learn is experiencing yourself." And so Niman set off to see what opportunities awaited him into the world. He has black hair with kind of gray highlights because he's he's not super young, but he's not really old either for a gnome. But he has seen some things because he studied for a long time.
Okay. Get all jump at once.
Not everyone at once, yeah. Think about the rundown just now.
All right.
Yeah, you got it.
There you go. Well,
Okay.
my character's Sonia. She is a fighter. She used to work as an officer when she was like probably a little bit, after 18 years old, became an officer in the like joined the Royal Army,
Mhm.
spent some time in there, and got disillusioned with it and just became more like a mercenary slash bounty hunter afterwards. Basically, she's probably 5'10", long red hair. Uh, Probably late 20s, basically.
Okay.
Just mostly goal is just just walk around like just to be free, I guess,
Makes sense.
of the responsibilities and stuff. Just living the life of an adventurer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. Like
Okay. And then Lasse's out, or what are you doing?
uh, uh, uh,
I'm just thinking. Okay. I'm my character is Badov. You guys know him. It's he has been growing up in the monastery. This monastery does not exist anymore, however, after around the middle of his life, it got raided by a bunch of cultists that were following a certain creature that killed most of his brothers and a few friends.
Okay.
So his goal currently is hunting down every single one of those cultists and getting revenge.
I like it. Love it. Want more of it.
That's just of it.
Yeah. Very, very, truncated, self-contained stories. Like it. Okay, so all of you have a various levels of experience in your fields. Do you all know each other at this point, or are we doing the thing where you're all meeting each other for the first time?
Can go either way.
can go either way. I mean,
Motherfucker, they don't have it can go either way. It's yes or no, the binary option. You either do or do not know each other.
I mean, if we're gonna reboot, maybe it's better to reintroduce and just pretend, and then we could just say that we adventured before with other party members
Yeah,
or something like
true.
that.
that's what I was thinking. Like everyone gets invited to Smash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've all become well known throughout the world of Light Hollow. Which something I will explain about Light Hollow again is that Light Hollow is massive, and it's one of those places where time. It's not that time flows differently. Is that it takes a very very long time for word to travel to far off places because the world is massive and also kind of empty because there's just rolling plains and hills and forests just filled with animals and things like that. But civilization obviously needs to be close to like running water or resources, and it's very hard to just put down stakes and just live in the middle of fucking nowhere. You got to be where
It's
people
like
are.
it's basically a slow expansion of the Wild West before,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. So it's one of those things that it's slow going, but there are certain places that are more well off than others, and it just takes a long time. So you've all individually been approached by a person, an elf, and they hand you a letter and basically just give you the same rundown that because of your various deeds and actions, you have caught the notice of a an elven mayor named Estolist Arbide that is in the town of Journey's Rest and requires your assistance. You're not obligated to come, but obviously you would be financially compensated. You would get the experience of adventure and basically all the things that people like you in your line of work would enjoy. And they give you a bag of coins, like 100 gold, for travel, for food, and show that they're serious. They're not messing around. So you all receive the letter. What you do with it is up to you. But I'm assuming that you're all coming to Journey's Rest, right? None of you guys are just going rogue and doing your own thing.
No.
I believe so.
No.
Yeah,
I have to
Niman
ask
heard word of
because
this,
I'm a
and
member.
he's riding a horse towards this location as we speak.
Okay, that's something else too. That's a good point. Nimin, there, all of you have a mount, so you just take time to think of whatever your mount would be, and it just cannot be like a dragon, right? You can have a
I,
horse. You can have
I
like
was gonna be like, I mean, they're funny, like dragon.
yeah. I know how you motherfuckers are. You don't have to.
A pink dragon that breathes bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I feel like you guys have this, but there's a limitation because I know how you motherfuckers are.
Mm,
So yeah, so you'll have a mount. It is a mundane mount. There's nothing crazy about it, but it can be whatever animals constitute a mount. So if you wanted to have like a moose, an elephant, something like that, something weird and bizarre, that's fine. Just nothing that
What
breathes
the
fire and
fuck?
shoots lightning out of its asshole. Just regular things.
Oh man.
Listen, I know my players. I know how you motherfuckers think. Okay.
Oh mate. All right. I was gonna be like, hey, what up? What about like was it the Darkest Dungeon where we use like the fucking armored like carriage and shit?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys wanted to just get a really nice whip, if you guys have money like that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll show you a picture of that just so you know. But I'm gonna go just for a regular, just like a regular horse.
Okay.
Not going for like head over there.
Yeah, so I've shared the map of
Eh,
the world so far. These are all the places that you guys have discovered in the various games, because all four of the games that we are playing currently reside on the same planet. The Dark Side campaign takes place on the underside of it, where you don't see the Everdark. But for the
mhm.
most part, Magnum Ferrum, Wood Elf, and Light Hollow all take place on this world map. And obviously, it'll expand as you guys go out. Just for right now, this is what I've got because I'm only home 2 days a week, so it takes a little bit of time to do all
it's
this stuff.
okay. It's
Mm.
okay.
It's
We
all
have
right.
to.
No,
Well,
Yeah,
people
I'm not
who
expecting.
don't know me don't know anything. What's going like? What the fuck? Why do you have two things on a map? Because I'm not home. I'm not here. But yeah. So you guys all show up in Journey's Rest, and
I was.
it's
I see this for the first time. It's pretty close to.
yeah. It's because you have not discovered anything yet. Like you have just seen. Oh, each of these squares individually is also a day's worth of travel. So like
I
from
see.
yeah from
Okay.
Journey's Rest to Wood Elf is several days, and that's through the wilderness, the mountains, and everything else too. Also, this
I
map's not
see. Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll
And
see.
just making sure. Just make.
It's also the scale because like, if I put it at like what would be full scale, you'd be scrolling for days to figure anything out.
Yeah.
So you can actually look at it and be like, okay, this is where stuff is. But yeah, so you guys all appear, appear individually in Journey's Rest, and it's a fairly large city. It's probably one of the largest cities on this continent that isn't Wood Elf. Wood Elf is its own separate fucking thing, but
Mhm.
they've got
And
everything
like,
you'd expect. They've got farms, they've got mills, they've got blacksmiths, they've got armors, they've got everything that you can imagine. They only have one church, and that church is the Church of Wende. That's the only thing that you've seen for a while. Yeah, the town is completely mixed racially. There's there's even goblins and kobolds and like what are considered traditionally evil characters running around. You know, the Journey's Rest in particular does not really believe in like, oh, orcs are bad, goblins are bad, like people are bad in general. Like you have to do a bad thing to become a bad person. So as long as you're not out there committing crime, you're chill. It's fine. So
So
you
there's like
want,
a racial truce there.
yeah, like there's in
Hmm.
specifically in Journey's Rest, there's none of that stuff. Just because
Hmm.
everybody helps everybody, and it's one of those things like you're in the middle of the goddamn wilderness. You have to depend on other people to survive. It's hard to be racist when you need to live.
Okay.
So yeah, in other places where resources might be more abundant or whatever, that might be a different possibility. But in Journey's Rest specifically, everyone's chill as long as you're not trying to cause problems. So you wander around
I
the town. Hmm?
not said I.e. destroyed the world or something.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're not genuinely trying to do bad stuff, people will just leave you alone. Yeah, so you're wandering around the town, and well, I guess we'll just do everybody individually then. So Nimin, you roll up in town on your little horse. You're directed to the stable where you can tie it up. What do you do when now that you're in town?
Uh, I kind of look around to see what this town's like. I mean, being that I'm from Neverwinter, which is probably not as racially acceptance,
Mhm.
I'm a little surprised by seeing the different types of uh, creatures, people, within this town. Uh, do I notice any notable buildings right off the way as I enter, or?
The probably the two most noticeable buildings in this town are the Church of Wende and the Wizard's Tower. The Wizard's Tower, known as the White Spire, is a giant, just ivory fucking tower jutting up out of the ground. It is immaculate. Despite the fact that it's pure ivory, there's no blemishes, there's no dirt, so there must be some advanced magic cleaning it, or they've got I don't know slave labor doing it. You don't think that's how that works?
Like,
It,
Uh,
it kind of hurts to look at it because the sun hits it at just the right angle where you're just like ah. But yeah, those
uh,
places they stick out the most.
well, I think I'm gonna head over to there and check out what's in there.
Okay. So you walk up to the wizard's tower, and as you approach the doors, you feel like a faint electricity, and you know that something magical is happening here. So give me an Arcana check.
magic.
Uh,
So as you approach the door and you hold out your hand, you feel some sort of like arcane tendrils like grasping at you, and you know this is some kind of like not a ward necessarily, but like a way for the occupants to know who's coming in and out. Do you announce your presence to this creature, or do you or to this presence, or do you just keep walking through?
uh, I announced the presence.
Okay. You announce your presence, and the presence kind of just swallows itself around you, and you feel it just like whirling through your hair, running around your fingers. And you're just like, huh. It kind of feels like cool and refreshing, and then in an instant it's gone, and the door just opens.
Okay, I step inside and look around.
Right? You step inside and look around. Inside the White Spire, there is a giant roaring fire. It is enormous and it is multicolored, changing constantly. There are various scribes and understudies bustling around with notes and scrolls, throwing tinctures and potions into the fire, writing down results. There are people levitating things with wands, moving books onto shelves. Like it's an incredibly busy, bustling area.
Okay. Um, I go to the nearest wizard or student and ask them, um, where's the person in charge here?
So the person you approach is somebody holding a clipboard, looking official, scribbling down notes, and they kind of just ignore you as you're talking to them until eventually, like they realize that you're there and they go, "Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. What was that again? What did you need?"
Uh, I'm here to speak to whomever is in charge of this place. Could you uh set me up with an appointment with them or direct me to them?
Okay. Yeah, the person is an elf man. bespectacled, short hair, very respectable guy, and he's just like, yes. What was your name?
My name is Niman.
And he's like, and what for what purpose do you need to see the headmaster?
Uh, I'm from the Neverwinter College, but I had set out and received word that this town requires some sort of aid.
Mhm.
And this tower was my direction. So I wish to find out what the matter is that needs assistance.
So he thinks about it for a second. And he's like, You explain your
Mhm.
situation, and I'm sure you mentioned the note. So he takes the note, and he's like, oh no, you need to go. You need to go talk to the mayor.
Ah, the mayor. Okay.
Yeah, and he gives you directions to the mayor's the mayor's mansion. From where you're at, it's an incredibly short distance. You can see it, and he just tells you, oh yeah, no, just go and present this to the mayor or to the mayor's guards, and they'll let you in and grant you an audience with her.
Why, thank you. So, what is it that you do here? Is this a school or?
So the man kind of laughs, and he's like, oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's part school, part business. And he's like, if you want, I can give you a tour very quickly. I'm busy, but I can show you a few things before I go. So he takes
Sure.
you all over the spire, or for the most part, in the central lobby area. He shows you where students of magic learn the very basics. How to use Mage Hand, how to cast cantrips. How to properly scroll in a or scroll in a wizard spell book, things like that. And then you're like, and then over here we have a section where we enchant items, where we train artificers, and you can see people, teaching brooms how to sweep for themselves,
Mm.
throwing tiny bombs at a wall and writing down the effects and things like that. And then he's like, and then for the more advanced stuff, it's on the upper floors, but you need the grandmaster to show you that kind of stuff.
I completely understand. Oh, so do you receive lots of students or uh, magic users here?
Like, oh yes, there are various white spires all over the world, and we use this giant fire here, and he points to the center of the room to attract and collect new people. Because even though the fire looks hot, walks over to it, just sticks his entire hand in there. He's like, it's not regular fire. So he's like, just if you give me a second, stands up onto the like the plinth where the fire's at, and just kind of like trust falls back into it. Wait, it totally disappears, and then reappears a couple seconds later, and he's got like a little coconut drink with the fucking umbrella in it. And he's like, here.
I take the drink and I um kind of look at it for a second just to see like what it's about, and then I drink it down.
You taste it, and it is the most refreshing, delicious thing you've ever tasted in your entire life. You're just like, ah, damn. And he's just like, yes, White Spire, way, way away from here, made that. No, if you have nothing else, I'll go back to my duties.
Um, yes, thank you. I will go to the mayor. Perhaps I shall revisit again since I will may be in town for a while.
Yes, of course, absolutely. And a fellow mage is always welcome here. You'll always have a place in the White Spire.
Thank you for your generosity for showing me around. I will return at a later date.
Absolutely. So you exit out and head towards the mayor's office.
Yeah.
Sonja,
Yep.
you ride into town on whatever animal you choose to ride in on.
Yep. It's a regular horse. I try to look for a stable to like leash it to, and
Mhm.
try to ask around the people around where can I find like maybe like a tavern and where the mayor's office is.
Okay. So conveniently for you, the tavern and the mayor's office are directly across from each other. So you're directed to the central town square where you see that there's a huge festival going on. There's food all over the place. There's people dancing, and then slightly beyond that is like the farms and stables. And this place
Um,
seems raucous and crazy. Like there's again tons of people everywhere doing things all the time. So you eventually
um,
reach.
I'm just gonna ask what a random pastor like townsfolk what are they celebrating? Or is it like a special day today or something?
So you approach somebody and ask about the festival, and they say, I mean, there's not a particular like festival. It's that the roving trader has come back around, and you see that the guy in the center of the dance floor, where essentially like the DJ would fucking be,
Mm-hmm.
he's sitting there and he's just handing things out to people. They're buying and selling right there, and they're just throwing a party because this guy is here again. The man that
Oh,
you
okay.
stop and explains that this roving trader takes several days, months to travel all over the place and then come back. He always has amazing things. So whenever he comes here, we always try to make him feel welcome so that he'll always remember us and come back.
So it
And
basically it gives good business. Oh, okay.
oh yeah,
So you
absolutely, yeah.
no, I just thank the man and like I'll hurry on to where the mayor's office is, so I could just
Okay.
inquire about this letter he sent me.
So you approach the mayor's office, and there are two elves in just resplendent golden armor standing there with halberds. They have a sword on their hip, and a shield that is kind of just like laid against the back wall there. They cross their halberds as you approach, and they just say, "State your name and your business."
Easy there, and I just showed him the note from the mayor. Got word from the mayor he's looking to hire some adventurers around.
Mhm. So one of them uncrosses his halberd. The other one kind of steps in between the two doors. He walks forward and holds his hand out. He's like, "Present your letter, please."
Yeah, I gave it to him. No need to lie about it.
Yeah, no, they're just doing their due
Doing
diligence.
your job. Yeah.
Yep. So they take the letter. They look at the seal and they go, "Oh, yes, please, just right this way, ma'am." Hand you back the letter. Step aside. Open the doors for you, and allow you
One
enter.
last thing.
Mhm.
One last thing. I asked him. I know that someone told me. Just ask him. Do you have like a blacksmith in town by any chance?
The one on the left is like, absolutely, ma'am, and he points over to the area you just passed through. On the opposite side of the plaza where the festival is being held, there is a
Mm-hmm.
line of shops, and anything that you require will be located there. Magic items, armors, blacksmiths, everything will be there.
All right. I thank the man and tell them they're doing a good job and head in to talk to the mayor.
They nod, close the doors behind you, and you hear their halberds clink against each other as they cross them again. So you enter the mayor's mansion, and the mayor's mansion is dimly lit, very large. You'd figure a place like this would be kind of stuffy and kind of smell bad or whatever, but no, it is immaculate. It is warm, it is cozy, it smells wonderful. There are various like leather sofas and things thrown all over the place. Very, very luxurious, very opulent,
Yeah,
but
I
not
let
like
out.
gaudy, you know. Hmm?
Yeah, I let out a small whistle. Like, oh, man knows how to live.
So as you kind of just stand in the central hallway, an elven woman shows up and she's like, "Oh, how can I help you, ma'am?"
uh, don't want to be bothered. We're sent here for a job. About
And
a
she
job.
says,
Talking to the
a
mayor.
job? And kind of like looks you up and down. She's like, "I don't think we need any more guards. Like, what exactly are you here for?"
If I still have the note, I just show her the note.
So she takes the letter. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yes, hang on, hang on." So she directs you to a couch. She's like, "Please, please, just wait. I'll bring the mayor directly to you."
I just shrugged and thank you. Just alert. It's no problem. She didn't know. Just
Okay.
doing her job.
So you go and you sit down on the couch waiting for the mayor. Vadove, you clippity clop into town. What do you
Uh,
do?
um.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
So I yeah, I think I would just get straight to the point. Just head try heading for the mayor's office, if I can.
Yeah. So you get off your horse. No nonsense. Where's the mayor? And the guy kind of like, "Oh, he's over there."
Thank you.
And you just
Just
fucking
heads
T1000
over.
walk to the mayor's office. Everyone just kind of gets out of your way.
Like this man has a chip on his shoulder.
Yep. The guards see your fucking JoJo Part 5 menacing kanji. They're like, "Hey, you. State your business."
Oh,
Uh, Hi,
Umi.
Rumi.
Hey, woman.
The so uh, just a moment. The name is Vadov. I pull out the letter that I got.
Right. So the guards just, without having to approach it, they just see the letter and like, "Oh, another one of you? Yeah, just
Yep.
come right this way. They step aside.
Oh, wait, you started?
Yeah, you're fine. Your character's not introduced yet.
We just
Yeah, it just started.
Oh, wait, so what's happening?
They're all being introduced to the setting right now.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're good. You're good.
It's okay. Lassie was about to do kung fu fighting against people.
Yeah. He was bowing up on guards and intimidating them. It was scary.
I'm like 3 feet tall.
Doesn't stop you from hitting someone in the nuts with a punch, man. What are you talking about? Doesn't mean anything.
You're talking about intimidation. I'm 3 feet tall.
You can be scary and
Again.
small.
Again, it doesn't mean you can't punch someone in the nuts again.
You can still
Yeah,
jump.
you can be short and terrifying.
So,
Short and terrible, man.
So Vidove, as you're entering the facility, you see this equally small gnome kind of just like running up, jogging to get to where you're at.
I think I'll just wait.
Okay.
For a moment.
So Niman, you see the guards step forward and then talk to this person. You can't hear what they're saying because they're a little bit far away. But then as you approach, they uncross their halberds and let this guy in. You know that's probably where you need to be because that's where you were pointed to go. So what do you do?
I approach the guards and I say, I require an audience with the mayor in regards to a request for aid.
So the guards who are, they're holding the door open for Vidove. They're like, just real quick, you got your letter with you?
I pull out the letter and show it to them.
They're like, all right, just get in. And just kind of just wave you all in. So as you both approach the center hallway, you see that there's a woman dressed in a chainmail bikini sitting on a couch, presumably reading a magazine or something. I don't know what Sonia's doing in her downtime.
Drinking some fruity drinks.
Nice. She's in there just hanging out. And a handmaid shows up and she says, "Oh, are you also here for?" And kind of like holds up her hands in a rectangular shape, like the thing.
Yes, I am.
Right.
I would imagine so.
So she collects all of your letters and she's like, "Oh, great, perfect. You're all here then." And she just directs you to one of the various couches or chairs and she says, "Please, just wait here. The mayor will be with you shortly."
Sonia just like looks at the two gnomes, right? You're both gnomes.
One gnome, one half.
Yeah.
Sorry, the gnome and a halfling, and look, job didn't say I was gonna work with people, man.
They got each
Were
other's
you
shoulders.
were you expecting to do this alone?
Yeah, noted by myself. They didn't say about working people, but just have to split the money 3 ways, I guess.
Fair
I
enough.
work alone. I'm a lone wolf on the edge.
I never said that. I just said I didn't expect to work with other people.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but well, where are you from?
Everywhere and nowhere.
Edge.
You are certainly.
But just to be nice, I used to work for the royal family, the royal army. That's all. I just look at it. I look at the Nimin and Widow, but make sure you both pull your weight in this job.
Which royal family, or
Royal
do you
army.
wish to keep that secretive?
I forgot what it was in the backstory. I think it was for the. There was a specific one. I gotta check it up.
Okay, I understand.
Royal army, yeah. It was a specific. I'm sorry.
I have not heard of that family, but
No, I said royal army family.
Boomy. Oh yeah, I see.
What?
I was muted. Okay. Yeah, so you're all hanging out, just talking, shooting the shit with each other. And then eventually a very tall, slender, elegant elf walks into the room. And she's just like, "Oh, glad. I'm glad you're all here. Making friends, I'm assuming."
Maybe.
Depends how long the job lasts.
And she kind of just like laughs, and she's like, "Well, I mean, the jobs that I have for you, jobs plural. I mean, they'll keep you busy for quite a while. I assume you all like gold." And she just turns to her assistant, who has on a tray several bags of gold, and just plops them all into your lap.
I also like being alive enough to spend the gold.
She's like, "Oh yes, of course. I agree, and that's why I brought you all here." My assistants have told me of your travels and your exploits, and you seem to be highly capable individuals. Is that correct?
Yep.
I would
say
consider myself
so.
capable.
At least make sure the money you're paying me is worth worth it.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I would never put you in a situation that you would not stand to benefit, because that doesn't do anybody any good. So she goes on and elaborates that I have a serious issue, but one that is not necessarily pressing, if that makes sense. Like it is not time sensitive, but I would like it handled immediately, if that makes sense to you.
Understood.
Okay. So she says, very well, then I have a serious problem with undead. So as you all know, or as you should know, Journey's Rest is one of the biggest settlements on this side of the continent, outside of Wood Elf, far, far to the north. And we have maintained our size by cremation. We don't really bury people here because it would just take up space, and we don't need that. However, we do have a graveyard for the affluent who don't want to be cremated with the common folk. You know how these people can be. And what's been happening lately is that those same people have escaped their graves and wandered into town and started attacking people. The guards can handle it because they're just common zombies or skeletons, depending on how old they are. But the fact that they've woken up at all is a serious concern. So I would like to hire you all to discreetly investigate the situation, figure out what the cause of it is, and if possible, put a stop to it.
Do you
I asked
believe
the
any?
mayor really quick. When did it first start happening?
She kind of crosses her arms and thinks for a second. She says, about 4 months ago. Nothing in particular like stood out on that day. There wasn't like a bright flash in the sky or anything like that. Just all of a sudden, an old person that has been dead for several decades wandered into town. Scaring everyone half to death, attacking people. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured in the scuffle, but it was definitely upsetting. And then the attacks have increased, not exponentially, but gradually over time, to the point now we're expecting, you know, a large amount of them pretty soon. It's getting kind of upsetting.
Oh, where is the cemetery located at? At the north of the town, you said?
The cemetery is located to the south. It is in
South.
between Shatterscale Swamp and Journey's Rest, and it was intentionally kept far away from the town specifically for this purpose, in the event that like evil necromancer wanted to raise us or something. But
Mm.
again, it's also a status thing. The wealthy don't want to be buried with
No, I
the
understood. I
commoners.
understood.
Yeah.
Do you know of anyone that practices necromancy in this town?
She shakes her head. She says, "No, like even the White Spire really doesn't deal with necromancy necessarily. Like clerics at most will you speak with dead whenever a person is found murdered to try to find the criminal. But outside of that, don't really we let the dead rest. The only people that I know would dabble in necromancy." She kind of just trails off for a second, like she wants to say something, but then just catches herself.
Mm.
Um,
Has in those 4 months, is there anyone like anything you noticed weird in town? Doesn't have to be like anything like nothing like you said like flash in the sky or anything like anything particular happened in town. At least 4 months, like someone new coming in, like traders dropping off stuff.
Yeah, she shakes her head and she says, "No, I mean for the most part everything's been normal. It's just the attacks and the incursions just started randomly. There was no telltale sign. No one new that we know of showed up and made a presence here. We have people that come and go all the time, but the time it would take to routinely
Like
res somebody from the dead is not something that just a passerby would do on a whim."
okay, so like basically you're saying any like traders are basically the normal traders.
Yeah.
No one specifically new. Okay.
Hmm.
have you had guards watch the burial grounds since
She
the dead have
claps her
risen?
hands together and she says, "Yes, that's a very good point." So we have a detachment of guards that are now patrol. We've also got private security that patrols. The wealthy families have paid them. There was one instance where the private security was all completely knocked unconscious, and the guards were distracted with illusion magic to go chase an imaginary culprit. And by the time that they figured out what was happening and went back to the location, both the guards and the bodies were completely gone. The bodies exhumed from the ground, and the private guards completely removed,
And they've never been found ever again.
completely gone, vanished.
Niven pulls out like a pad of paper and starts writing down all the important notes that he's heard.
So she's looking like increasingly nervous as you guys are talking, and she's just doing that thing where she like bites her thumbnail, like she wants to say something, but she's just holding herself back.
Sonia's like, Mayor. What was her name again? Sorry.
Her name is Estelist Arbide.
Mayor Arbide. Are you sure you don't have any more information? At least I'll try to see if I can use persuasion.
Yeah, okay.
Because anything could be critical to our investigation. Oh, good, 21. I thought that was like
So
a 7.
you press a little bit, and she eventually just relents because she's like, okay, I don't like to talk about this very often, but have you all ever heard of the menagerie? You can roll a history check to see if you know about the
Yeah.
menagerie.
I will roll history. Oh crap! It's a 1.
Nice.
I didn't count because I didn't roll like an idiot. Damn, that was an 18. Jesus.
I'll give you the 18. That's fine. Yeah, so all of you more or less have heard of the menagerie. None of you have actually been there. Some of you don't even know that if it's a real place or not. But the mayor describes the menagerie as a sort of like a petting zoo for ghosts, essentially. So the menagerie is a place where, if you have the money and the resources, you can entomb your dead relatives, your dead friends, and their bodies are intact, they're maintained, and there is magic placed all over the menagerie that allows ghosts to just kind of freely run around and just do ghost things.
Mm-hmm.
So if your wife died or a pet died, you would take them to the menagerie, and while their physical body is dead, their spirit still kind of just hangs around. And it's one of those things where it's kind of questionable because you're not sure if they're kept there by force or if they're tricked into being there and the ghosts want to leave or whatever. But it gives people comfort to know that, like, if they wanted to talk to somebody that they loved that is gone, they now can do that even in death. So she's like, I don't really like talking about that place. It makes people here very uncomfortable, but they obviously very powerful necromancers, congregate in that area. Plus, the swamp itself is known for all sorts of black magic and voodoo and all sorts of things that just kind of regular folk don't enjoy particularly.
You said it's located in the swamp, right?
It's located south of the swamp, yeah.
Do you know of who runs that particular area?
The menagerie does not have any like definitive owner. It's kind of like a collective group. If you wanted to go there, perhaps maybe they could help you, but like I said, we people in Journey's Rest like to stay north of the swamp.
Okay, so it could be a possible venue of investigation. Then, all right.
She says, yeah, I'm
Are
sorry, I
they?
can't.
Yeah. Will they be like neutral in dealings with outsiders, or are they best hostile with anyone outside their group?
I mean, they're a business, so presumably they would be very hospitable. Provided you weren't trying to cause problems or anything like that for them. If you're just asking
Okay.
questions, I don't imagine they would be hostile towards you.
All right, good.
Yeah, so she kind of just crosses her arms and say, "I'm sorry, I wish I could help you more. I just don't really know what to do. This is a very unique problem, and I just want this over with so people can sleep comfortably at night without fear of their loved one attacking them in the middle of the night."
Sure. I'll ask the mayor. How often does this attack happen? Is there like a set? Have she knows any kind of pattern, or when was the last time you got the village got attacked?
The attack started 4 months ago, and they happen about every week and a half or so. It's
Mhm.
never been a very large amount, but it has increased from 1 to 2 to 3 to now to the point where almost an entire adventuring party of undead just kind of shamble into town. And then she thinks about it for a second, and she says, "Yeah, something that's very unusual is that undead obviously don't don't think. They're driven by whatever commands their necromancer raised them to have. But these undead try to go back to their routine. So if a blacksmith died, as an example, he would go and pick up a hammer and try to swing it onto an anvil, but they're just going through the motions. There's no thought behind any things that they do, and they only attack people when the people try to like stop them or remove them from the facility.
Mhm.
So if you leave them alone, they're not hostile. But it's one of those things. Seeing an undead corpse shambling through your town would definitely cause alarm and cause people to attack it, which in turn causes the undead to attack. It's a very strange condition.
I understand.
Very interesting. So, have you been mayor for a long time, or is this? Do you know of anyone who would wish to bring harm to this place?
So she laughs and she's just like, well, and she just kind of pokes her nose. She's like, she'd never ask a woman her age, but I have been the mayor of Journey's Rest for over 150 years.
My, that is impressive.
And I know you shorter-lived people think that's a lot, but I still have a lot to learn. I inherited it from my father, and she just points to a large painting of an elf that looks kind of like her, obviously her dad.
He looks at the painting.
All right, it's a painting of an older elven gentleman.
So during your time, you've never had any individuals who've caused major problems for the town?
She laughs and says, "Oh no! Like everyone in Journey's Rest knows, we are basically isolated from everything. We've got the mountains to the north, the oceans on either side of us, and then the swamps to the south. Like we don't really get problems like that. Occasionally, we'll have brigands or outriders or a band of orcs that tries to come through and test our metal, but Journey's Rest is enormous, and there are plenty of adventurers like yourselves that either live here or retired here. So it always ends very badly for them. We've never had anything like this. This is just a very strange set of circumstances.
Are your guards well trained?
Of course, they have only the best equipment, the best gear, the best training, and you know that to be true because when you were stopped by the guards, you took notice of their equipment. It's all perfectly maintained. These people know what they're doing. They're serious professionals.
And have you given them any instruction on what to do with those undeads that are walking in town?
The undead, anytime that they approach, are to be, if possible, restrained, and if not, destroyed. There's nothing we can do.
Hmm. You and he pauses for a second and says and starts writing in his notes.
Mhm.
Well, I guess
Mhm.
for me, I'll just say thank you for the information. I'll just ask really quick where's like their best in at the moment. We'll start the investigation maybe by tonight or by tomorrow. I guess we just need to
So
get
she
our
says,
bearings straight.
as far as the inn and the tavern go, they're directly across the street. You won't find anything better because there's literally nothing else. So you notice that as you walked into the mayor's office, that there's an enormous building behind the mayor's mansion, and again, raucous, rowdy. You hear glasses clinking, plates clattering on tables. Like even from the outside, like it's getting lit in there.
Okay.
So Vado, what are you doing?
I'm just listening to this while I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just stand there for a while listening.
So you stand there T-posing, and the mayor looks at
Not
you and
really
says, "You're standing there,
posing, or
dominatingly."
or like hands on hips. That's
Yeah.
that's basically what.
So she looks over at you and says, "You're very quiet. Do you have anything to add or any questions?"
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
She's like, "Oh,
And Nimin looks over and says, "By any chance, you wouldn't happen to be a cleric, would you?"
You mean me?
Yeah, you.
No, I'm a monk.
Hmm. And he just kind of like thinks for a second and goes back to writing his notes.
Do not rely.
Yeah, so the mayor says, if we've got anything else going on, then I'll let you guys get cut loose. I wish I could help you more. If you have any more questions, feel free to come by whenever.
Okay.
Mhm.
I thank the mayor, and I just motioned to the other two that we should head out and decide, getting this planned out or something.
Yeah. So, John, since you're gonna head out, we're just go take care of the pig, and then I'm gonna keep running this until you're done to come get me.
Dookie.
So, Nimin and Badov, you're
Yeah.
poking around, investigating, and trying to get information. So I need both of you to give me a perception check.
All right.
Ah.
So the two of you walk into the tavern, and it everyone kind of stops for a second, looks at you, and then some guy in the back, probably like a barbarian or a fighter, is like, "Hey, who let these kids in here?" And everyone just starts fucking laughing and clanging on the fucking tables, and they just go back and ignore you.
Very funny. Very funny. I just slow clap. Very funny.
Nimin just ignores it like it's not the first time, and he just goes to the to order a drink and food and stuff.
So a tiefling barmaid asks if you need help getting into the stool.
I'm quite all right, thank you.
I jump up.
Nice. She's like, "Ooh, very very nice." Claps, and she's like, "What can I get you, gentlemen?" As she like walks around the bar.
Whatever your special is tonight.
All right. So she's like, "All right, very well." So she goes into the back. She says, "Do you want food as well, or do you just want drinks?"
Food, please.
And you?
I would just need a drink.
Okay. So she goes into the back, yells some things in Infernal, and answers are, return in Infernal.
I think I speak Infernal. It's fun part.
So you speak Infernal,
Yeah, I do.
and you hear her just ordering like food diner style, like that, like the SpongeBob thing, like you make it swim, the whole thing.
Yeah, we serve food, sir.
Exactly. So you wait a couple of minutes, and then she brings you back your food, and it looks immaculate. It looks like food drawn by an anime about food. You're just like, oh hell yeah. You eat it, and it's good. And she's all right. Yeah, I'll be around here if you need me. Just wave me down, all right?
Right.
So, Nimin, since you rolled high on your perception as you're sitting there eating your food, you notice that a couple of stools over to you, there is a man holding his side as he's drinking. And you notice that in between his hands are splotches of red. You're not entirely sure what's going on with that guy, but he's very clearly injured. He's just kind of trying to fake it, or not entirely sure what's going on with that guy.
And is he sitting with other people, or is he just kind of by
He's sitting
himself?
in between people, but he doesn't appear to be with them.
Are there any spots near him that are open?
No, but you can ask somebody to leave or just talk to him directly if you wanted to talk to that guy.
For now, I just will kind of like turn around and keep an eye on him every once in a while, but I won't approach him yet.
Okay. So since you're trying to like stealthily keep it, just nonchalantly look at this guy, give me a stealth check.
All right. Okay.
Oh. Wow. I rolled a natural 20 and you got a 22. So he notices that you're looking, but you managed to do a thing where like you look like you're looking at like the menu behind him or something. So he's like, okay. So you've thrown him off your scent. So as the night continues, you're sitting there just eating, drinking, listening to people. they eventually start getting up and dancing and whatever. And the people that were next to him get up and leave to start dancing and joining the people at other tables. If you wanted to go and approach him, you have an opportunity now.
I make my way over to him and I start by saying, good evening, sir.
He winces when he hears you talk to him. And he's, who are you? Do I know you?
I don't believe so. Are you okay, friend? You seem to be in pain.
No, I'm fine.
I say, are you sure? And I pull out a health potion and I kind of just like show it to him.
He's like, no. I'm quite all right. I don't need your kindness. I'm fine.
I completely understand. Has it been a long night for you then?
I'm alive. Hello.
It's good that you're alive. Welcome back.
My favorite type of
Just,
woomy, alive.
Yes.
Sorry, I just finished throwing up.
Oh god.
Oh,
No, it's a good thing. I feel better.
Yay!
Okay.
Sorry. Can you repeat what happened?
Alright, so
Just
the synopsis.
The last thing I heard was, Nimin, I think, trying to sit next to the guy with the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
offered
what
him a health
happened
potion,
after
and
that?
the guy didn't. They've been offered him a health potion, and the guy just turned it down, still holding his side and wincing whenever he talks.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm blowing my nose.
Mm-hmm. So Nimin kind of looks towards the like where he's kind of like holding his side, or it's like where, and I'm like, did something bite you?
So when you say that, he's like, "What? Bite? No, that's crazy." Shifty eyes.
Mm. Yeah, I try to calm him down by saying like, sir, listen, I understand you're trying to put a brave face, but if you really need help, I'm very skilled in magic and I can help your pain and get you feeling better.
Right, give me a.
All right. Let me take a sip of water. So, as Nimin is saying this, suddenly somebody crashes through the front doors, but you don't quite get to see who, as it's just kind of a blur before you hear the slicing of 2 blades. And when you look back at the man who has blood on his side, his head has now been cleanly chopped off and is now comedically placed on the food that he ordered on the table.
Lol.
That's a good one.
Nimin, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Yo, let's go! Also, where did Sonia go?
John in real life had to go pick up a pig.
Yeah.
John in real life had to go pick up a pig, so he's gonna go do that, and then whenever he comes back, we're gonna leave. But
Yeah.
Sonia is, doing Sonia things. She's reading a book. She's flexing. She's oiling her pecs. So,
doing work.
Maybe she went to the blacksmith or something,
Yeah.
because that's what she was asking about.
doing nerd shit. She's picking up the new Harry Potter book. So you're sitting there, and Nimin, you it happens so fast. You're like, oh, I better try to protect it. Just you're splattered in fucking blood. You're just like, jeez.
I would notice this, right?
Oh, yeah, it
Vomit
happened.
check.
I
Vomit
mean-
check.
But Dove, give me a perception check.
Of course. Perception.
Yeah, like, do people notice this in general? Or because there's like
Yo,
dancing and stuff going on.
let's go.
Again.
I'm gonna roll a group perception for the crowd. 2. No, they're getting so litty that they're just not even noticing
Fuck.
this woman just come in here and just slap chop this fucking guy's head off. So David, you are covered in blood. There is now a decapitated head on a plate on the table in front of you. What do you do?
And so, do I see the woman, or
Yeah,
or
she's not
am I
invisible.
just kind
It
of
was just incredibly
okay?
fast. Yeah.
I kind of like get in like a defensive position, and I'm like, like, what did you do that? like I'm just like
I can't
like
believe
who
you've
are
done
you?
this.
Like, and I'm ready to kind of like attack back, and depending on what she says.
She doesn't say anything back. She just makes eye contact with you, looks you up and down, and as you see that, you see through her cloak 2 bright green eyes with gold specks littering her eye. And she looks at you, and she kind of just doesn't make any audible response. And she quickly grabs the head and the body and leaves as quickly as she entered.
But Dove, make a perception check.
Gladly.
Yeah.
You didn't see her come in, right? But with Nimin being like, "Hey, what are you doing, man? What the fuck, bro?" I'm like, hang on a minute, I know that voice. So you look over and you're just like, "That's a fucking head on the table." So you look over at the person who did this, and you, as a martial artist, realize that feat by itself, to sneak past you, to kill this person in one stroke, and to just try to abscond with them. This person is incredibly skilled and talented. However, you're looking and you realize they're not breathing. Somebody who would be doing that kind of like effort would be breathing hard at the very least. Like, no matter how stone cold you are, you still need air. This person, however, is floating through this place like a ghost.
Ooh, okay. Just go and try stopping breathing. I assume just
All right. So as the unknown assassin tries to leave, this towering figure, 3 feet tall, is like, "Hey, no,
I'm a 3-foot halfling.
you gotta get past me, buddy." What do you
And
do?
Nimin
woman-
tries to chase behind also.
The woman sort of looks down at the figure, and you feel this menacing aura, JoJo style kanji, floating out of her.
Both of you roll intimidation checks against each
Roll
other.
intimidation. How do I do that?
So what you're gonna
It's,
do? You are going to
in a
click
character.
your character portrait.
Oh,
should- it
nice!
should-
I have 0 on charisma. That's
And then
fun.
I think she only got like a 10 in charisma, so you're both
I don't
evenly matched.
see intimidation.
So you're gonna go to skills. It's on the right side in the tabs there.
Skills. Skills. Oh. There.
Yeah,
Got
underneath alphabetical intimidation. So what you do is you're gonna double click the 0 next to the red dragon icon.
Okay.
So you try to just
You're
menace.
absolutely kidding me.
Yeah, you try to menace this individual, and you're just like, in a dark and scary voice, trying to intimidate him. You look into his eyes, and you see nothing. You're just like, huh.
Oh.
You see the calm serenity of a person that has seen horrible fucking things and is still alive. Like, even though this person is flesh and blood, he's just as dead as you are.
Mm-hmm. That is very true. Yeah.
So it makes you stop for a second. And you're like, You realize that this person's for real.
I kind of just shrug to myself and try and push past him, get out the door before anyone would notice the bloody figure and decapitated body slung over this lady's shoulder.
Bado, give me a wisdom check.
Wisdom check. Okay.
Yo, let's go.
I have no common sense.
So you see this person try to push past you, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? She just doesn't see me. So you are just like following after her, just feeling like, you know what? I'm just gonna make myself taller. So you jump on a table, and you're just like, just glowering over her, and she's just putting her head down and walking really fast, and you're both just doing this out of the fucking room. You're trying to be inconspicuous, but you have made a spectacle. And then you've got Dim just like, hey, wait for me, hang on, and just running out the door.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm like, don't let them that thing escape.
So as you guys just power walk towards the doors fly open, and out, and from the outside, wearing a violet cloak, a woman emerges, and she just sees this woman carrying a decapitated body with two small children, and she's just like, "You will cease."
Thanks.
The entire room goes quiet, and everyone's just like, "Oh fuck."
I'm just standing. I imagine I'm just standing on like a chair, just back
Yeah.
to the wall. I just hear cease.
With the woman is a small halfling child, and it looks up at the woman, and he says,
Uh-oh.
"Jimmy, that man ain't got no head." And the woman just looks at you, and it's just like, all of you are going to come with me. You, and you. And just points to each of you individually. And it's like, you are going to follow me. Do you understand?
I sigh. I'm like, well, so much for an in and out job.
In now 10
What?
minutes, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
So as you leave, the entire crowd in the tavern is kind of like is awkwardly silent until the doors close, and then they're just like, "Whoo!" And then you go back to partying. So as you exit, you are now face to face with the Lord Commander of the Knights of Journey's Rest, and she says,
Uh-oh.
"You, much like Lucy, have some splaining to do. What is happening?"
I'm pretty sure it's quite clear. This person just cut someone's head off in the end.
So she turns
Well-
to you and says, "What is your name?" Niman.
My name is Niman.
I've never seen you here before. What business do you have in my town?
We were ordered here by the mayor to resolve an incident that has been occurring recently.
So she sighs and just like runs her hands through her hair, and she's like, "Oh my god." All right. Since the mayor knows you're here, presumably, yes, right?
Yes, we've already spoken to her.
We're all gonna come with me, and just walks across. The two guards are just fucking shitting themselves. They just open the door. They didn't ask questions. They're just like, get in there, go." So you are all brought inside the mayor's office. The mayor is in her night clothes, and she's just like, "Oh, Jimmy, oh, is that a dead body?"
Yes, it's a rather dead one.
Why did you
Forgot
bring
the
me a
head.
dead body? I
I
trusted
kind
you.
of I dropped the body,
No.
and he kind of thumps onto the floor.
My carpet.
I-
It's brand new.
I just kind of like face palm, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Who is this?
If anyone can tell that I dropped him on purpose,
Oh yeah.
like a goods delivered kind of thing.
Well, it
Who-
turns out to you that like the dead body thing was bad, but she's like, "No, my carpet."
I'm like, who is this person, and why have they not been put in chains yet?
So
I took care of your problem.
the mayor looks at you, and in a
I'm
vehicle-
still holding his head.
Yeah, the mayor looks at you and in Abyssal, she's like, "Did you have to do that here?"
I just look at the I look at the girl like, do what here exactly again?
And then her eyes get huge, and she's like, "Oh."
Yeah, I speak Abyssal. What about it?
Well, this just made things a little bit more complicated. So she says, "Okay, I don't think you speak Abyssal. Do you, Nimin?" Just points at you.
Just give me 10 minutes.
She just throws her head back and just like slumps her shoulders. She's like, "Oh, come with me." It just kind of
10
stomps into a
minutes.
side room.
10 minutes in and out.
So she, in Elvish, speaks to her handmaids, and she's like, "Just get rid of that," and just points to the body slumped on the ground. And then she's like, "And pay the woman for that," pointing at the head, like poking it. It kind of just jingles, you know. Oh my god. So she takes you into the back room. The handmaids come and take away the dead body. They use mending on the carpet to remove the stain. They just roll it back up. It's brand new. It's like nothing ever happened to it. So she sits on the table and she does the Shinji's dad pose from Evangelion, just tenting her hands. And she's just like, "Art, what did I tell you about doing that in the town?"
1 second, I need to grab.
Nim just kind of like, it's just confused. Like,
I love the fact that me speaking Abyssal is coming up for the first time.
Okay. I sort of look at her and I'm like, "What? Hey, I didn't want to wait."
So she sighs and she's like, "Okay, well, I mean, at least you were found by Jimmy and not by Carp." And Carp is there, and he's like, "No, I was there too." And she's like, "Oh." So she's like, I just can't fucking win today." And Carp's like, "What happened to that man? Why is his head gone?" And Jimmy's just like, "Carp, just wait outside." So they give him like a juice box and put him in the lobby with everybody else. So he's there just hanging out. And Jimmy's like, "Yeah, I also want to know, Art, why? You know better."
But it was too easy. Everyone was distracted.
Jimmy sighs and just kind of again just runs her hands through her hair. She's like, "Yeah, no, I get it. I'd probably."
and it's like, not everyone was distracted.
And you know we take care of our business. This is personal.
Yep, Jimmy, crosses her arms and she's like, she's got you there, Esther. So Mayor Arbide is just kind of like, just so fucking over it. She's like, "Okay, you know what? This is bullshit. I wanted to go to sleep, so I'll give you some more information that I was trying to not keep secret, but I just didn't want to throw this shit everywhere just in case." And then knock stuff off her chest. She's fucking mad. She's like, "All right, go to the goddamn menagerie. They more than likely know who's responsible for this." I was just hoping that they weren't, and I was hoping that somebody looking at Art and be like, could keep this under wraps long enough for you guys to find them on your own. But if it's getting to the point where these goddamn grave robbers are just getting caught, this is a problem. So she goes on to elaborate. She's like, "Okay, so I don't know exactly who is responsible, right? But what I do know is that it has to be an organized effort. There has to be a large amount of people that are involved with this scheme, whatever the hell is going on. I don't even know what the fuck is going on, but it takes a large amount of people. And that lump over there, just and motioning towards the body, like one of her targets. Art over here is a hunter of grave robbers or people who disturb the menagerie. This woman is not to be trifled with, as I'm sure you know. Nimin is still covered in blood."
yeah, I'm like wiping stuff off my face still.
The handmaids come and just like whirl around you in a circle, just wipe it all off, and now you're just immaculately clean. Like, "Hi, how are you?" So she's like, "Oh yeah, so you guys just need to go to the menagerie. That will probably answer all of your questions better than I could."
All right. that explains it then.
So that gentleman was a grave robber, and
Yes.
you were hired to kill him.
Not
As-
hired, just killed him.
So Mayor Arbide kind of stands up and does a thing where she sits on the edge of her desk facing you all. And she says, yeah, no, see, this young lady is special. And she takes a piece of paper and just kind of holds it under her nose. And she's like, see how it doesn't move at all?
Oi! Watch it.
Yeah, I see it. I saw it before, actually.
She's like,
And I snatch the piece of paper and I rip it to shreds.
yeah, this little one over here, ferocious, but also very dead. So she's
What?
she looks at you when you're protesting. She's like, it's all out. This one saw it. He speaks Abyssal. He knows what's going on. Look at Vidal, just one eye up, one eye down.
Just a small guy with like normal clothing and a scarf. Nothing else. Just a guy.
This guy knows what's up. He's probably been on your trail for weeks. Who knows? Who knows what else he knows? You look at him. You're like, a thought has never entered this man's head ever. So yeah, he's like, yeah, this Art over here is a member of a noble family that belongs to the menagerie, and through certain circumstances, which I will not bother getting into because it's not really relevant right now, you know, she's special, you would say. Doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to breathe, relentless. So anything that disturbs the menagerie, you know, she takes care of it. Her and her family take care of it. If you ever encounter them, it's never a good thing. You guys are lucky that you're not dead.
Well,
There's a family of these things.
someone else took the bullet this time, I see.
And yeah, Mayor Arbide says, yeah, of course there's a family of people like her. But she's not the only one.
Okay.
Some of them are
Do
more
I
dangerous
know
than
of?
she is.
Do I know of what race she is, or?
You can try to make a nature check to see.
Okay.
So you take a little bit of time looking at her, realize that she's not breathing, she's got pale skin, and you're just like, let me see your teeth. And she, of course, just protests, but you see the little jaggy points coming out there, and you're like, oh, dampier. Oh, vampire.
Vampire.
I see. That explains your fascination with blood.
Well, way for you to follow stereotypes. Not all vampires feed off of blood.
Well, I found on my travels do.
They
Then
don't come from
what is
my
it that you are
family.
seeking then?
I tie up loose ends, as the mayor said. That is
Yeah.
all.
I have a loose end to tie of my own, actually. That is, I can respect that, honestly.
As of right now, you two are considered loose ends because you're witnesses.
So we're also the mayor's guests to help you with your other loose ends. So what is your
Unfortunately.
problem?
The mayor, when you put out that they're loose ends, she rolls up a piece of paper and just bonks you with it. Like, no, you leave these ones alone.
I hiss at her.
She does that thing. You hiss, and she does that thing where she just puts her fingers on your teeth. And she's like, no, you leave them alone. These individuals and one who's not here yet because she's, I don't know, oiling her muscles right now is gonna help your situation, so you can go back to doing whatever it is you were doing before.
Fine.
Let's see. Yeah. So you kind of just awkwardly stand there for a second. All of you just with the stark realization, like, yeah, this is an unlikely partnership, but Mayor Arbide is like, yes, I want you all to work together. I was hoping to avoid this situation, but you decided to not fucking follow the protocol, so now you got to deal with these guys. You get to babysit. Congratulations.
What do you mean?
Don't blame me
babysit?
if the menagerie eats them alive.
I think they'll be fine. That one probably doesn't taste very good. He just points at Niven. He's like, hey. So she says, if you are ready, you all can head out in the morning. I'll prepare transport for you all. Because Dampier don't have like sunlight sensitivity or anything like that. They're basically just
Weird.
blade.
It's kind of weird.
It's because they're from Barovia, and Barovia doesn't have sunlight. So
I
they,
mean,
they don't.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we'll just make her a fucking like blade where she's a day walker. It's fine.
Do you think we should investigate at night? Wouldn't that be where more activity would be?
I mean, first we would be needing to travel there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the whole point. Is leaving in the morning to get there by night because you have to travel around the swamp unless you guys want to travel through the swamp. Traveling through the swamp is super dangerous, but it'll cut your time in half.
I mean, I mean, I don't see any problem. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, I think I have to go because I feel really, really sick.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Okay,
probably what we'll
that's
call it
fine.
here anyway, because now everyone's got
yeah,
the. It's just a session 0 anyway.
Alright.
we got the hook. We know where we need to go. That's all we could ask for, technically.
Yeah.
So hopefully we feel better next time. We'll play not this game, but we'll play again in 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
Gotta get some sleep.
Feel better.
It's just a weather change thing. I think so. I think so. Next time will probably be better.
Yeah.